What's up, guys? My name's Ethan, and I help men overcome their sexual abuse and step into a life of meaning, step into the man that they've always dreamed of being, and step out of the pain, the suffering, and everything that's caused by the abuse, and step into pretty much every aspect of their life. And in today's video, we're talking about the one fundamental belief that I believe that a lot of men, which I do know because I've talked to a lot of men in this area that have been struggling with this one belief, and it's something that I've struggled with as well. And I'm going to share with you some methods that have actually worked for me to step out of this and into something else, and the opposite. And it's worked. Like, I've leveled up. I've stepped more into my life, and I feel like I'm more than a man than ever. And that is exactly what we're talking about. We're talking about how from sexual abuse, a lot of men can feel like they're less of a man because of what's happened to them. And this is normal. You ask any man who's been in this situation, and some part of them will feel this way. So if this is you experiencing it, first of all, it's happened to a lot of people, so you're not alone. Second of all, it can be overcome. Because a lot of the times when we're believing and when we're feeling like we're less of a man because of what's happened to us, and we know that how you do one thing is how you do everything, right? Then you're going to act like less of a man in your relationship, in your family, in your career, in your business, in your personal life, in the gym. Like, every area of your life is affected by this one subconscious belief. And it's normal for someone to feel this way, because when you look at sexual abuse, it is such a delicate topic. And for men, we're taught to always be the strong ones, to be this like strong, stiff, nothing can happen to us. We're strong, we're stoic, we're not to show our emotions, nothing. Rah, warrior, right? And then when something comes along our experience like sexual abuse, it's like we're no longer in charge. A lot of the times we feel powerless, we feel hopeless, we feel like we're the victims. We're like, and there's a lot of pressure. We put a lot of pressure, and this is one big, I don't want to say issue, but one big thing that people will put shame, and men will put shame and guilt on themselves for not stopping it when they think they could have done it. But what they don't realize is that they think they could have stopped it from this body and from like this consciousness and what they have now. They're like, oh, I could have stopped it, right? But at the time, you were just a little boy. At the time, you did the best that you could possibly do with the tools and consciousness that you had at that time. And sure, in the perfect world, you might have been able to say no and stop it or stick up for yourself. But at that time, you didn't. And that's beautiful. That's wonderful. But a lot of the times we look back and we're like, fuck, we didn't do it. We didn't stand up for ourselves. We didn't stay strong. So we're less of a man because of that. And we'll put that shame, we'll put that guilt upon ourselves. And we feel like we're less of a man because it's sexual abuse. Our sexuality is a huge part of who we are. And sometimes that can be the first experience for boys, or first experience for men, or first experience for people. And if not, it's still a violation of your sacred body. And so it can feel extremely powerless in that sense again. Where you're like, this happened to me. This physically happened. And you can feel like less of a man because of that violation. You can feel like you're less of a man because when you talked to people, or when you shared it, or when you opened your heart of that peace, someone judged you, or someone looked at you differently, or someone said something, rejected you, or said that, oh, you should have just done this, you should have just done that, or they questioned your experience about it, which can make you feel like you're less of a man again. And so this belief lingers throughout men who have been sexually abused. And if we don't put an end to it, if we don't look at it and see it and ask ourselves, like, is that belief really, really true? Is it true that we're less of a man because of what's happened to us? Is that true with a capital T? Would everyone in the world agree with you upon that? No, right? But because we don't question it, we just go with the flow. We just keep our thoughts, and we just think that this is the way. We just go with that ocean. We just move into that space, and that's all that we know. Like, when I was believing this, like, I believed this for a long fucking time, that I was less of a man. I would look up to other men and be like, wow, they're so manly, they're so different, they act better than me, they're more confident, they're showing up in this way, they stand for what they want in relationships. And I wasn't doing those things. I wasn't confident, I wasn't insecure, I wasn't sure in what I wanted in a relationship, I wasn't sure in the direction where I wanted to go in life, I wasn't sure of my purpose and the meaning, and have the drive and have that warrior spirit to me, because I didn't think that I was a man. I thought that I was less of a man because of what's happened to me. And I was in those spaces that affected my life in that way. And then as I began to question that belief of like, is it really true? Like, take one moment right now with me. Like, is it really, 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 really true with a capital T that you're less of a man because of what's happened to you? Would everyone in the world agree with you upon that? Is it the undeniable, unarguable truth? Your answer is probably no. And this is where we start. We question it. When we question that belief, because it's all a belief, that's it. It's just a belief. And you might be wondering, like, what's a belief, Ethan? Well, if I ask you what the color of my shirt is, what color would you say that is? It's black, right? Well, how do you know it's black? Who told you it's black? Where did that belief come from that it's black? Because if you were taught from an early age to the point to where you are now, if you were taught that this is white, you would say white. And then we'd be at an argument. I'd be saying this is black, you'd be saying it's white. Because you believe it's white. I believe it's black. So that is a belief. It's something that we believe to be true about the world and our experience and our energy and our world and our reality. And a lot of the times when we carry beliefs, kind of like the ones where we feel like we're less of a man, well, the other belief, the opposite of that belief, can be just as true, if not truer, for other people. Because I believe that I'm more of a man because of what's happened to me today. Yes, there are times in my life when I'm over here, but I catch myself and I shift as quickly as freaking possible to get back to how I am more of a man because of what's happened to me. And so, now that you kind of understand what a belief is, now that you understand that there can be opposing beliefs, and we know that this belief over here isn't true. It's not true that you're less of a man because of what's happened to you. We can begin to look at this belief. Okay, so now that we know that this belief exists as well, let's search for evidence in why you are more of a man because of what's happened to you. Because when you believe something to be true, if I believe that I feel like a less of a man, I'm going to search for evidence to support that belief, to support in ways in which I'm right. So it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. I believe that I'm less of a man, so I'm gonna act like I'm less of a man, and people are gonna tell me like I'm less of a man because of how I'm acting. I'm gonna show up in my family like a ding dong, and my family's going to show and share with me that I'm a ding dong, and so it's gonna reinforce that I'm a ding dong and that I'm less of a man, right? And so, if we can search for evidence over here in this belief, well, that will change the game. It will change the direction in which our life will head 100%. So let's talk about some ways in which you are more of a man for what has happened to you. The first way that I believe that you are more of a man because of what's happened to you is that you're here watching this video. Like, straight up, it takes an amount of courage, amount of vulnerability, amount of transparency, amount of honesty, amount of integrity, amount of like, whoa, power and strength and courage to why even watch this video, to be able to face off with what it is you're going through. So that's number one, because what would a less of a man do? A less of a man would run away. He'd hide. He wouldn't search out materials. He'd just shove it down in shame. A man would look at it, own it, be it, embody it, look at it, breathe it, and realize that it's not him. And this is what you're doing by watching this video. So like, that's way number one. Way number two, it's kind of similar. It's like you're facing off with it. You're willing to take the thing out of the deep, dark shame closet. You're willing to look at it. You're willing to face off with the pain, with the hurt, with the emotions, with the trauma, with the sensations, with the feelings, with everything that's involved. You're willing to look at it, see it for what it really is, and put it back down. Instead of just burying it under you where it's affecting you for the rest of your life. That is manly as frick. Because if you felt like you were less of a man, they would probably bury it down. They wouldn't look at it. They wouldn't face off with it. They'd look to alcohol. They'd look to drugs. They'd look to porn. They'd look to all these meaningless relationships, everything to fill that void. But you're willing to look at it. And yes, you're not perfect. I'm not perfect. I'm floating in and out of these things all the time. And you're more of a man because you're here facing off with it. And that's huge. And another one is that you're alive. You're here. After everything that's happened to you, you're still here. You're still alive. You're still here. You could have ended your life. You could have done something. You could have done something crazy, but you are still here. And that makes you one hell of a man. That makes you more of a man. Because no matter what has happened to you, you still show up. You still show up in your life, and it makes you more of a man because of what's happened to you. Makes you more of a man because you're willing to get better. You're willing to get better for yourself, for your family, for your friends, for your community, for the world. You're willing to become the best you possible, and that is one hell of a man. And I know from the deepest parts of my core that what you have been through makes you more of a man. And I'll end that there. And I'll ask you to take a moment and reflect after the video. And ask yourself, how am I more of a man because of what's happened to me? Because you can either search for the ways in which you're not more of a man, or you can say search for the ways in which you are, and which one feels better. Imagine, let's say, this is going to prove the point that you're more of a man as well. Imagine, let's say, that you fast forward 5 years of dealing, of taking care of all of your stuff and all of your hurt, all of your pain, and all of this, and healing it all. Imagine 5 years flow by, and you boom in the future 5 years from now. Where would you be? What would that feel like? What would you be doing? You'd be up to some crazy, beautiful things. And let's say that you feel like you're less of a man for the next 5 years. Where do you think you'll go then? Deeper into alcoholism, deeper into hurt, deeper into pain, deeper into suffering, deeper into all that stuff. It's wow, you're creating a life. It's fucking huge. It's huge. That's meaning, that's purpose, that's drive, that's beautiful. So, it's all where you search. I encourage you to begin to look over here in the ways in which you are a man. And a technique to help this is also meditation. You can find that in one of my other videos as well. And it's all where you search. So begin to find ways in which you are more of a man because of what's happened to you. And with that, so much love, you guys. I ask that you support just by clicking the subscribe button. Also, it gives you notifications and lets you know when I have videos that are coming out. And you never miss a thing. So you can extrapolate and heal way quicker. So you don't want to miss that because it's happening. And I'm only trying to produce more and more and more valuable content for you guys each and every single week. And also, I love you. I care about you. You're not alone. Never alone in this journey. So my hat's off to you. Honestly, you have so much courage, so much bravery, and so much strength just to be here. So thank you for being here. And until next time, so much love, light, gratitude, and blessings sent your way and my way. It's all around us. So let's get to it. Take care, guys, and I'll see you soon.